Hey everybody, it's Jenny and I am back today to share how I plan with you this week in my Classic Happy Planner. This is my traditional, regular, old planner you're used to seeing, not my work planner, and I am going to be planning the exact same way I always have. And this week I am going to be using a bunch of stamps from Technique Tuesday that I'm really excited about. Like, for real, love them. This is the color palette I'm working on, and you will recognize it. I have used it before. It's a current fave. You can see I stamped some of those florals on cardstock, colored them, and cut them out, and then I just showed you the stamp set, sorry. And then those three are the ones that I'm literally obsessed with. Like, I love them. I'm going to reach for them every week. And then that one, I just love the text, like the mix of the script and then the outlines. So I'm going to try to use a couple of those this week as well. So let's get started. I'll take the page out so I can get that nice solid work surface and not have those discs in my way. And these little flags, now I think that ultimately they're really supposed to be used vertically, but you know me, I love to turn these on their side and they work out so well for me. Now this one kind of looks like it's got a road, like a solid, and then the dotted line down the center, which works out perfectly because my husband is traveling for work this week. So I am just putting that up there in that top box and using the arrow to show the motion. And these are going to be perfect for me, and I will show you a little bit more of how I'm using them in a little bit. But I just love it when you find a set that's just awesome. Now you can see I'm going to also be using these colored pencils from Tombow. I really like them. They have a really nice consistency, and I'm going to use those to color in a bunch of stuff this week as well. Now, let's be clear about the colored pencils. Use whatever you have. If you don't have some though, I recommend these Tombows, and I'll link them up for you down in the bottom. However, if you have some Rose Art or some Crayola or whatever, use those. Don't go out and buy some really fancy colored pencils to color in your planner. It's really not necessary. Sorry about that, I had to clear my throat. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere the florals up here in this corner. I'm going to be using two different corners of this floral, which obviously already does sort of like a corner action, and I just want to use that to be sort of like bookends-ish, like to pull it all together. So I'm just going to set it right there and take a look at what I think about it while I stamp this checklist. Now you can see it's only got 3 on there. So I've stamped the first 3, and then I'm going to use my baby wipe to clean it off, and then I'm just drying it. It didn't need to be primed or anything like that, just so I could ink it up again to add 2 more checklists. Now I could have done 3 more and so had 6 total, which would have been completely fine. However, I didn't really need them, and then it would have taken up room that I would like to use for my meal planning instead. So just adding 2 more was perfect for me. And that's what's one of the really awesome things about stamping, is that a very large majority of the time you can make it work out how you want. Now I love this purple ombre sticker from Krissyanne Designs, and then this little cute baseball border as well. Pairing them together is just so fun. The ombre is kind of like a thing this week for me in this layout, and so you'll see I'm repeating that with the colored pencils too. So that's why it's fun that I used those stickers that have the ombre also. So I'm adhering the cardstock flowers down now that I'm sure that that's kind of what I want and that kind of thing, using the Tombow mono adhesive. And I know you guys have heard me talk about the Tombow mono adhesive before, but it is absolutely, without a doubt, just one of my very favoriteest adhesives. And you're thinking, A, favoritist is not a word. B, why is it better? Well, I'm going to tell you why it's better. Because it's actually going to stick. It's going to have long-term sticking power. It's inexpensive, and it's really easy to use. And those are kind of just making the perfect trifecta. Now, these alphabet stickers are just notating my husband's work trip, and unfortunately, they are from a company that is no longer creating paper crafting supplies, which is unfortunate because they were one of my most favorites while they were still in business. However, I still have a hoarded stash, and I will see if I can find some for you on the internet and link them up down below, because they are really fun to use. So again, I just notated my husband's work schedule across the top, and it's playful and it's fun, and it just adds to the overall theme of the week. Now, keeping in mind that because of my planning style in this particular planner, I can't do that whole like really, what's the word, like stylized planner. It just looks so perfect and pretty and like designed. This one is really so much about function, like solely function. So I have to get my activities down. I have to get my to-do lists down. And so if I can make that look good, that's awesome. However, it's really like a secondary concern, it being cute. But because I've been planning so long and I've been planning so long in this way, I'm able to do them at the exact same time. And for me, I feel like it turns out great. Now you can see I added just a little simple happy planner checklist in the middle box, and then another one of those little arrows down below. This one has tiny little stars, and so I wrote the time in the box, and then I'm just having it point to my son's hitting lesson. Now I'm adding that to-do list for Wednesday, and I'm simply trimming up with my X-Acto knife 2 of the little checklist portions. 1, I don't need that many. 2, I want room for my meal planning. So it's kind of one of those things that it works out great. Now, if I'd wanted to have the 5th one, I could have bumped it up into the next box, but I just decided to stick with 4. Living on the edge, people. Now, this box is so cute. Another one of those sets that I'm truly obsessed with. I'm not just saying that. I really love this stamp. I think it's so cool and it's so perfect for me. I'm sure lots of people, like if you have a kid who's in drama or you are a astronomer, I don't know. Whatever. But for me with sports, like the stars are just genuinely perfect. Or maybe you just love stars, because I love stars too. But this set, I'm going to be keeping it in my most used stamp sets, because actually, truth be told, all of these stamps that you're seeing me use today are going to be kept in my most used stamp sets, which I will show you. I'm about to revamp that, so how about I show that to you next week in my next video. Anyway, so I am moving on to the second half of the week. I also pulled in my lavender flare pen to add a little bit of color and keep it from being completely black. Not even necessary, just I did it for fun and it seemed like it would be a good time, so I did that. Now, Thursdays, for whatever reason, are always light around here, so I don't have anything to add there except for a checklist, which is awesome. I love that. I love having sort of a little break between the busy first half of the week and the busy second half of the week as well. So I've gone ahead and stamped on Saturday morning with that same list. And then for Friday, I'm doing my checklist, which this is so weird because I feel like I'm kind of stamping out of order and adding all of these different things in not the same sort of way, but whatever, it's all good, right, at the end. Now I'm doing the exact same thing with this checklist for Friday that I did for Monday, which is doing the 3, cleaning it off, drying it off, and then adding 2 more. And it's for the exact same reason for the meal planning. However, I should know better because I don't meal plan for Fridays, so it probably wasn't really necessary. Now I'm adding another one of those ombre little activity boxes. This one is pink, and I love having that on this half of the page, like to have a little bit on the left and a little bit on the right. I like how they tie together, and I'm going to pair them with these floral stamps that I already showed you in the beginning that I stamped, colored, and cut. And then now I'm just using them on the planner pages, just much like you would a die cut or a sticker. I also added the checklist in the Thursday. I love those ombre boxes that the Happy Planner has. They're just so pretty and they're perfect and they fit nicely. And the Happy Planner stickers genuinely are so wonderful. I love using them. Now I'm going to use that box again. It's so addicting. It's perfect for writing games and activities and all kinds of things in there. And I just really think it's adorable. I also happen to love that it does look ever so slightly hand-drawn, so somebody could think that I actually drew that, which of course I didn't, but it doesn't matter. It's really cute and I love having it in my planner pages. Now I'm just going to continue to add things like right there I added that flower and boom, I loved how it looked. So I went ahead and just adhered it down. And I love that little cluster right there. Once I get my bottom corner filled in with the flowers, it'll be part of that really awesome little triangle of elements and the overall really super cute design. Now I'm going to fill in that box for Saturday, and then I obviously have other things that I need to include as well, so I'll go ahead forward and work on those too. Now I wanted to use that big notebook looking paper for that Saturday, but it just probably wasn't going to work for me, so I'm still thinking on what I'll add instead, and so I'm adding the little nail polish bottle and then stamping the word nails. Isn't that so cute? Also a new Technique Tuesday stamp set, and I will link you up to all of these in the bottom in case you love them as much as I do, because they're just really fun. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and continue working on the weekend, and I've added that those are the words that I was talking about that I just love so much, because the empty space where you could add some coloring if you felt inclined mixed with the script is so, so, so cute. Now just adding that flower up at the top, and then I'll trim that excess off with my scissors just for fun, just because I can, because I had an extra flower and it's fun to add a little bit of extra elements wherever you can, and then pulling that little part that I trimmed off over into that cluster on the left hand side. So now it looks completely filled out to the margin of the page, and it just looks really cute, and I love the whole thing together. Now the one flower at the top is a little bit he's kind of floating out there by himself, but it's all right, doesn't matter. He's still super cute. Now you can see I was flipping through my Krissyanne Designs stickers. I've had these for years and years and years, and you don't see me use them very often because mostly I hoard them because I love them. The paper is like unicorn tears. However, you do have to use a permanent marker on those. So that's what you're seeing here, is that I'm writing with a permanent marker on that sticker. And I've just decided I'm going to use a few of those every now and again because they're so cute. Now here's that corner floral sticker that you have in the upper left, and I'm inking it up with my Versafine, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, with even firm pressure, stamp that in the lower right hand corner. So see how those are going to tie together? And then I'm going to take the Tombow colored pencils that I shared with you at the very beginning, and I'm going to start to color in all of these different elements. Now you don't need me to walk you through all of the coloring, but what I am going to tell you is that I am starting with a soft touch in circular strokes. Okay, not in these up and down alphabets because that's almost nearly impossible. However, I am sort of trying to create an ombre effect, and so I am pressing very lightly in order to build the color for the darker and the mid-range in those alphas. But in the florals, I will use a lot of circular strokes to get nice even coverage. I'll do a little bit of shading, and then I'll choose all three of the colors that will pair together to really tie the whole layout together. Now you can see that this is a process, choosing the different colors that go where, making sure that they tie together with the rest of the elements that I've already used, but then also just being mindful of what flowers, like, you know, in this case flowers, are going next to each other. Like I don't want them to all be pink in one cluster. It would look weird, so you want to sort of vary the whole thing. Now that doesn't mean you can't cluster purple flowers together. It just means that you have to be thinking about how the overall look is going to be. And again, just adding a little bit of shading, starting out really light and then building upon that. Now, I'm not worried about the shading being perfect. Let's be clear. This isn't like a thing where I'm really actually trying to think about where the sun is hitting the flowers, though sometimes that does happen in terms of shading with markers and colored pencils. In this, it's really genuinely, I'm only doing it, just adding a little bit of dark here and there just to add some interest and not have it look flat, that's all. So because this is my planner page, yes, I want it to look good, but I also don't need to have the same care that I would in maybe a project that I was going to send someone else, or a card, or a home decor piece or something like that. This is really legitimately 7 days of looking at this, and then I will move on and flip through it again later in the future. Speaking of flip through, look forward to next week where I will flip through for you all 3 of my planners for the first quarter of the year. So now I have gone back over to those alphabets. Oh my gosh, alphabets, really? The words over on the left-hand side of the page. So there's just a little bit left to do, and I think that one of the things that I'm going to also include, like I said, is the meal planning at the bottom. So I'll stamp my meal planning down there using the Versafine, and then this cute little cutlery stamp from Scraptastic Club, which unfortunately you cannot still get. And I will also stamp, obviously, right there my recycling and garbage. And then, see, there's the meal planning. I just wanted to, give you a little bit of surprise right there. Now we'll go ahead and stamp that up down across the bottom. And I love icon stamping. It's so easy to do, and it's just really effective, and especially for those things that you stamp over and over and over and over again each week, it's really just a perfect way and very cost effective. Now I'm going to also use the Simply Gilded washi. I have like 4 rolls of it. If you don't know about Simply Gilded washi, it's one of those things that it's really insanely hard to get, but I'll add that in just a minute, and that's it for me. Thanks so much, guys, for stopping by and watching this week. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment box below, and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thanks so much, and make it a great day.